take them back and put them in the car.
All right, we are, I think, connected now.
Now, is this similar to others? Like we can see the question. Will I be able to see the questions as well with you, or
it should be? Yeah,
okay.
We should be able to see them. I think this will work. Hopefully, let's see. Yep. Let me go live on TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, but
I know what you mean.
I mean Instagram, because Instagram is different.
I get so many questions about how I edit all my.
Okay, so we're here live. People are just logging in. I'll turn off the audio on my phone, but we're going to answer any immigration questions you guys might have. So please feel free. Hopefully you can hear and see us okay. This is our first time and we're new to the tech stuff. So please bear with us and also give us feedback as we experiment with this new process. But as I mentioned on our intro and our little blurb, we are immigration lawyers and we are here to answer immigration questions, which you can ask in the chat on YouTube. That's the best place to find it. Let me see if I can make sure the other one. Yep. I see that we're logged in. I don't.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody is.
And Hiba, if we can just keep adding in there, if anybody has any confidential information, not to mention it out live, and they can always book a consultation and to speak in the general sense.
Yes, 100%. That's a very good advice, because we are not wanting you guys to put your information out there. That's the last thing we want. We want to make sure. Okay. Cool. I guess that was important enough to duplicate it.
What happened?
I just heard an echo. Okay, there we go. I was hearing an echo. Yeah, but that's very important. I hope I got everybody on there. No. But yeah, let's see if you guys want to post your comments. Comment here.
Hold on 1 second, because it's not going through my AirPod. I just want to make sure it's on my AirPod. 1 second.
I got a question about the new H-1B. And I think the answer is really difficult right now because this is really new. We have to wait and see what will happen with the H-1B rules. They announced a few days ago, you probably all heard about the $100,000 fee for H-1Bs, and obviously that's going to impact future applications. So we're talking about that impacting H-1B lottery starting next fiscal year. But we will have more details as the actual rule is released, so we can tell you guys exactly what's going to happen and what it's going to look like for you.
Hiba, just FYI, I cannot see any of the questions. So when the questions come up,
yeah, I'll have to read them out.
So when the questions come up, just if you can just read them, that would be great.
No worries. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out actually the I hope you guys are, whoever's interested, actually, I should say, in joining the live. Hopefully you guys have a way to put your comments in the chat and that you're able to. Please do so just to test it out, just to make sure. Because I have a couple streams going on.
And like we said, we're testing this. We're testing this out.
Yeah.
So if this works out, this actually can benefit everybody because this is a free service that we are actually providing to the community. So
Exactly. Yeah. This is and so if any of you are interested in giving us tips and tricks for how to improve and or doing it for
yes,
us, I don't think we would ever say no to help like that.
that's true.
We are focusing mostly on the law and like our clients and our lives, but sometimes these like little side things like a YouTube live stream is something that we've never done or it takes some adjusting to. So please feel free to. And then also, you know, again, if there are technical issues on your end, then please excuse that on my part because this is very new. But I will go ahead and check Instagram. I will say that if you're on Instagram asking questions, the best thing to do is to head to YouTube just to verify that I am seeing them because they're really hard to. Oh, great. So there, whoever's in Instagram can see and hear, but
Okay.
the I'm not seeing anybody on YouTube commenting yet. So I'm not sure if I did that part right. So hopefully I did, but if not, let me know. I'm going to open that other, because I'll tell you why this is because I have two YouTubes going on right now, but I linked both of them to the same one.
Oh,
So
okay.
hopefully they're both linked. Oh, I got a question. Okay, there. طلعت له القرعة 2026. Okay, so I'm gonna show the question on the screen. Can
okay.
you see it?
Let me see.
Oh,
بنتي
that's so
طلع لها
funny.
القرعة ورقمها والمفروض إنها ضمن الأرقام لشهر 10. هي مقيمة بالأردن. ما هي الخطوة القادمة؟ قدمت. Did she file a DS 260? What did she do so far?
هنشوف إذا لازم تجاوب السؤال بالشات.
بالعربي. بتجاوبيه بالشات. Okay, go ahead.
لا هو الشخص نعم قدمت ال DS 260.
Okay. So هلا بدها تستنى. So بدها تستنى للسفارة تعملها الابوينتمنت ويدعوها ويعطوها الستبس فور next. إذا قدمت ودفعت الفيزا فيز وشي filed all of her paperwork, so all she has to do right now is just wait.
Yeah.
عندك
ما
إشي
أعرف إذا
تاني
السؤال
بدي
إنه
هبة؟
like أنت خايف إنه في شيء يعني غلط أو
I was
طالبين
just
منكم شيء
I was
يعني هذا الشيء شكل طبيعي يعني
I
المعاملة
know
ماشية.
I know unless ليش دايما أنا هدول الأسئلة بخوفوني. It's like هل
There's
بنتك
something maybe
yes
going
هل
on.
بنتك مثلا مجوزة ولكن مثلا مقدمة عزبة؟ هل do you think بتعتقد إنه هي مثلا عملت أخطاء بالابليكيشن ولا سؤالك بس عادي؟
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. يعني هي إذا كان بدون ما تعطينا معلومات إضافية حسب
yes
يعني معاملة ماشية نظامي يعني ما في أي مشكلة. بس لو في شيء معين يعني ممكن تبلغنا عنها. We can address that.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a question that we expected to hear, and it's about TPS for Syria, and it's basically asking if the grace period for Syrians is counted as valid status for the change of status purpose. So that was the 60-day grace period we were just talking about for Syrian TPS. Basically, is that going to be something that we need to, if people were maintaining their status, assuming that that status had been maintained before, the question is that okay to do an adjustment of status within the 60 days after termination? And I think yes.
عم بيجيني
As long as you've maintained.
عم بيجيني الصوت مأخر. Can you hear me well? Are you able to hear me well?
I hear you perfectly, yeah.
Okay.
But my answer to the question is yes, and hopefully you agree with me. But basically, change of status, as long as they're otherwise eligible for a
I
change
was
of
just
status.
gonna say yes, as long إنه لما صارت TPS, you guys were already in status. مش إنه مثلا like you were in the country for a year or a month or 2 months out of status وبعدين عملتوا TPS. So it has to be إذا كنتوا قبل in status ترجعوا بstatus.
Right.
I don't know. Is that the
Exactly.
question or was the question هذا هو السؤال صح؟
They're just asking about the 60-day period after the grace period, if that counts as the status. So
Okay.
it should, because they're given 60 days, which
Yes,
we
if
just
they were
checked,
in
and it ends
status,
on
yes.
November 18th, right? We
What
said?
did we say? Yeah.
I think 18th.
It's
So 60 days
60
from
days
the date
from
of
the
termination.
16th.
As long as, like, from the moment you entered the US, again, this is in general, if you're looking to do a change of status, in general, you need to be in status, and that needs to happen from the
Before.
moment you enter the US. You need to make sure that there's no gaps.
And I don't know, like until we get the next question. I know there's a lot of Syrians who have been very worried. I don't know why there was at some point there was a misinformation that this decision was also for people who are applying for asylum and still waiting a decision. I just want to make sure and say it again that this is only for people who only applied for TPS and only applied for TPS only. مثلا في عالم مقدمين على التي بي اس واسايلم بنفس الوقت. So إذا أنت مقدم على asylum أو مقدم على أي benefit immigration benefit تانية, هاي ال immigration benefit it's still going, it's still running. بس إذا
Right.
أنتم ما عندكم غير بس TPS, then this applies to you.
Okay, so just to make sure you guys understand, TPS termination, as far as the people this impacts, is those that are here only on TPS, meaning they have no other status, no other
Yes.
pending case that keeps them in lawful pending status. This applies to you to be able to change status outside of that. You have to do that before the termination of the 60 days if you're talking about a change of status, as long as you are in status. But if you have anything else that's, for example, allowing, whether it's a pending adjustment of status, let's say filed by a US citizen petitioner that is immediate relative, for example, that keeps you in pending status under that pending adjustment. So that doesn't affect you if you're no longer in a TPS, if your TPS is no longer valid specifically. So those are the things that you should be asking. Is there something else I can change status to if I'm able to change status? And that would be some examples that have come up for other of our clients is student visas, for example. Yes. Of course, that would impact your ability to work. If you already have been working on your work permit through CPS, then you're going to have to figure out, another way to support yourself while you're doing your student visa, because you cannot work and maintain your status in that case. But there's also a lot of people, and I know we were just talking about this, that are thinking about asylum, and they worry about whether the 1-year rule will apply, and it does not, as long as they file within a reasonable time after the expiration of their TPS. So their prior status. So TPS counts as preserving their status and allows them to meet the exception of the 1 year as long as they file, and within a reasonable time is defined by, as a rule of thumb, is 6 months. But I wouldn't wait that long, because you're technically officially out of status outside of the 60 days.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Hiba. And again, I know a lot of people take asylum very lightly, but you have to remember, you have to have a case for asylum. So you cannot just say, well, I just want to file for asylum to buy myself time. It doesn't work that way. So there has to actually be grounds for asylum. And to discuss that, you should be discussing it with your current lawyer, or if you don't have lawyer, you can always Hello.
I hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. Sorry, I hear you. No, you're good. Okay, the other question that we got. Do you see this question? And if you're here on my phone,
Hiba, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. 1 second.
I hear you. If you're joining on Instagram, the best way to make sure I see your questions is by following on or Facebook or TikTok.
Hello.
Please go to our YouTube, because that's where we are currently. I hope you guys can hear attorney Alice, because I do. I hear her. Are you guys hearing her? But we're here answering immigration questions. Please let me know if anybody has any immigration questions. Put your questions in the chat on YouTube, and we will answer your questions as they come. I see a question from down the road. Okay, so about an EB2 visa, if that gets approved, you can adjust status. So the important thing of doing an adjustment of status or a change of status is the same. It's the same question, basically. Can you change status? Can you adjust status, whether it's a non-immigrant visa or an immigrant visa? And the way, you guys can hear me, right? You can't hear me? At least I can hear you. I hear you. Can you not hear me? I think the
Hiba, I'm gonna sign out and sign back in. لأنه I cannot hear anything. So I'm gonna sign out and sign back in.
Okay. People that are asking about citizenship requirements, they have changed slightly, yes, and they are going to affect the ability to apply if you have arrests, which they already did, especially if they were within 5 years. But it depends on the arrest, but you definitely have to address it because now you have to show good moral character. So it really depends a lot on what was going on, and this is within 5 years. I know it got dismissed, but the circumstances are still relevant. Going back to your question, I'm glad you can hear me. And again, if you guys are following me anywhere else, please go to our YouTube and we can hear you there. At least I don't hear you. Hold on, let me add.
Okay.
Okay, now it should work.
Yeah, you know what it is? I'm using this on my phone, so every time I get a call for some reason, yes. But it's too late now to set it up on something else. So
No, you're
just
good.
there.
I can hear you and see you. And you can
So
also
just
do like what is it called? Do not disturb or
hold on,
like
hold on,
something.
hold on. Let me do that right now. See, I told you, and I'm not very technical. I'm glad that I have you, Hiba.
No, I'm
Okay.
glad. As if I'm better.
Yeah,
We're
you are.
struggling.
Listen.
don't-
You're young. You're younger, so you've used the technology in a better way during school وهالأشياء هاي more than me.
No, this is like technology changes every day. So if
I
you're not
know.
like, using it
know.
every day, then you're gonna miss the boat. But yes, I was just answering, I think, a question about TPS adjustment of status because we had talked about change of status to non-immigrant. And I would answer her because she's asking about EB2 and it's the same thing. So whatever you're adjusting to or changing to, whether it's a non-immigrant visa, you want to do a change of status to a student visa or something like that, or an adjustment, which means a green card application through EB2, which is an employment-based green card. Those are all possible as long as you're in status. You have to have maintained it, and that's the only challenge. When you have EB2 right now, the priority date's about 2 years out, meaning even if you're eligible, it's going to take you 2 years just to get to that part where you can file.
I was gonna say there's other things that are available, but the challenges is with the priority dates. So even if you wanted to wait, you're gonna need more than 60 days to be able to qualify. I mean, unless you've already filed and you're very close to your priority date, but it's really not realistic. Like there's options out there, and it's very sad, and unfortunately nobody can control this. It's very sad that there's options out there, but they're not realistic.
Yeah. I think the issue for me is the quick turnaround time that people didn't have an opportunity to figure out backup plans, because 2 months after being in the US potentially since 2012, if we're talking about TPS for Syria, is really cool. Especially knowing that all the other immigration options are pretty much at least a couple of years out. at least if we're talking about employment-based cases. I have a question. It's on a different place, but it's basically asking about I-751s and how long they're taking. And I always get this question, so I think it's a nice one to answer if you want to address it. But it is taking a long time. The petition to remove conditions to get the 10-year green card is like really delayed for some reason. So I always tell people
It's
apply.
still the same. It's still the same. I mean, you have no way around it. You have to remove your condition. Okay.
Yep.
So whether you like it or not, you have to remove your condition. Now, the good thing until now, again, anything that we tell you, it's up until now, because anything can change tomorrow from what we see from the administration. You remove your condition, and obviously they're going to give you the extension. And within 1 year, which you'll have your green card for 3 years, you can actually file for your citizenship exam. And citizenship exams are coming very quick. I don't know if you agree with me, Hiba, but they are coming very quick. So what they do is that they adjudicate both applications together. They will adjudicate the application for removal of condition and your citizenship exam at the same time. So in other words, don't be afraid that it's taken a long time, because it's not like you have to wait until you receive your actual new green card in order for you to file for your citizenship. If you're still with, and again, everything has to qualify. So if you're still with your wife or with your husband, and you qualify for everything else under the requirement to file for citizenship, you can do that a year after you file for your removal of condition.
That's right.
And it's actually a good thing. Let's hope they don't change it.
Yeah,
Let's hope that this administration does not change it. So as of today, as of September, what is it? Is today 26?
Yeah, to 26.
As of September 26, we can still do it.
I think we have to say 421, because by the minute things change in our world.
I know. Like last week, it was so many decisions at the same time, so many executive orders, and it's scary. I mean, listen, even for us as like immigration lawyers, because, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Hiba, we worry about our clients. Immigration law is one of those practices. I'm speaking in English. Is that okay, Hiba, or should I speak in Arabic? Or
no, English, I think
okay,
everybody so far.
Okay.
I always tell people if they have a question in Arabic, they can ask in Arabic, and then we can hopefully.
Yes. Okay. So let's do this. Whoever wants us to speak Arabic, ask the question in Arabic. Whoever is okay with us speaking English, they can ask the question in English. So what I was saying, Hiba, and I think you will agree with me, is that immigration law becomes very personal. Like the client is not just a client. It's not like a corporate client where you're doing business and it's just business as usual and that's it. No, there's lives involved. You become very involved. You become attached. Your clients become more like family members, especially that both of us are immigrants. So we know what it feels like. We know how difficult it is and how emotional it is.
Yeah. My parents are immigrants, but I'm not.
Oh, were you born here?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
A lot of people think.
So you were listen, your Arabic is so perfect, Anjad. Wallah, I thought you were born over there. But you were raised by immigrants, right?
Yeah. So no, but I completely agree with you. Yes, that's really the challenge is like how to help people. Sometimes it's not even that we have too much work. It's that sometimes we can't even do the things we want to do to help people. And that's more harder than actually being busy. Like I'd rather be busy helping people, but these days we're not busy helping. We're just trying to keep up with all the change, and sometimes it's we can't even do anymore.
Exactly, and it's like I feel like there are. It's not that, and again, I always say it's not that the laws changed, but they are عم بيطبقوا القانون يعني بكل دقة. That's the difference, So it's always been on the book, most of it always been on the book, but now they're really looking into everything.
Right. If you're just joining, we're live on YouTube. If you want to ask your questions, you can join us on YouTube. I'm not always going to be able to see it if you're asking anywhere else, if this is streaming in another platform that you're on, just so you know. If you're here on YouTube, I'm like getting glimpses of these questions on like the other devices and the other, like I know there are people asking on Instagram as well. Let's see what the question
So
was.
Hiba, so if they're asking their questions on Instagram, you cannot see it. It will not come through.
No, I
So
see
they
it.
have to.
I see it. I just can't I have like 5
I know.
screens going on
Okay.
right now.
Yes. So
I
it's
got
easier. So if anybody has a question, please log into the YouTube
It would be
channel.
easier. Yeah,
And yes.
because I literally I'm trying to try to change tabs, but I'm also trying to read the questions and balance. So that's just
I
advice for
got
you.
you.
I'll try to get to your questions, especially those of you on TikTok, because I know that TikTokers can't get on. I have my phone literally here on live on
Okay. Okay.
just because I can't do it live stream through my through
Again, we're still learning how to do all of this. So we're trying
yeah.
to make it. Honestly, I didn't get it live stream on any of my channels because I'm not a tech savvy, and hopefully someone will help me
You
to
help
do
people
that.
so much.
So
You do
next
so much
time,
already. I mean, it's very important that the word gets out. There's so much information, so much
yes,
going on that I think that whatever we can do to make sure that this information gets out there, even if it means it'll be a minute to figure out the tech stuff. But I think at the end of the
yes.
day, what we're trying to do is to make it easier to get the information, which a lot of people, there's a lot of issues that are preventable, that are hopefully a lot of misinformation out there. Hopefully we can address. So I think it's really a helpful tool. I hope
Can
you.
we, Heba, can we address one misinformation that
Yeah.
even me, it keeps coming up, coming up on my For You page. It still comes up, although it's misinformation.
Oh,
There's a
really?
video out. There's a video out there that says if you are a green card holder, you cannot leave the country until you get permission from the government. Have you seen it?
People are saying that. Yeah, they're saying.
It's
Oh, I didn't know that
crazy.
they're saying that they can't come back. I just know that they're asking why can't I or should I be traveling? So I just thought that they're worried about traveling. I didn't know they're saying you have to have a
No,
permit.
there's one, and it's an AI video. There's one AI video, but it's in different variation. Like they'll have the face of President Trump on there. They'll show you the green card. They'll show you the airport, and they say you cannot leave the country, otherwise you cannot come back. So
This must be these are anti-immigrant people that are putting this out there because they want to restrict the rights that you guys have. You have a right to travel. Why would you not travel if you have that right? That's the whole point of people getting permanent residency. So they can say, I reside in the US, I'm
yes.
permanent. I don't have to worry. Obviously, traveling is part of living in a place. You should be able to go and visit other places. Obviously, that again, with the condition of knowing that a residency requires you reside here primarily, which is another question that we
Yes.
get a lot. But if you are, then you should be able to travel and there shouldn't be any issues. Obviously, and we have questions as well from even citizens traveling are going to get questioned when they get back. So make sure you know your rights, whether you're a citizen or a permanent resident or on a visa. Everybody's got a set of rights they have to be aware of if you're traveling internationally, if you're able to. But if you're already a permanent resident, you don't need a permission to travel. You already have that. I think maybe they're asking about asylees. Is that possible that if they don't have a passport? Because they do
No. The video is just a general video
just green
about
card.
green card holders. Yes, I just want to add something to what you said. People with criminal records. People with criminal records are the
Yes.
ones that should worry about traveling. But if you are a good abiding resident, a green card holder, you have no problem. You have not overstayed or abandoned your green card, then you should be able to travel and come back.
Right.
Yes.
That's true. And so, yeah, if you're not sure, please make sure you check with an attorney before you travel. If
Absolutely.
you think there could be something wrong. And also don't be abroad more than 6 months because that will subject you to
Absolutely.
other problems potentially. Answering questions about if they get a divorce, someone asked about divorce. How does that affect their eligibility for citizenship? And it doesn't unless they're filing within the 5 years. So if you are on a permanent residency that you filed a green card, you have a green card through marriage and you get divorced within 5 years, but you have a citizenship case pending because you can apply within 3 years, then you should withdraw that if that's your situation, if that's why you're asking. But otherwise, if you're eligible for citizenship, it doesn't matter if you get divorced, even if you got your green card through marriage, as long as you wait the normal amount of time, the requisite amount of time.
So basically, instead of you waiting 3 years, now you have to wait the 5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Khalil was telling us about the DS-260. He said we didn't pay anything because it's free, but it's not. So I would say
It's not
you should
free.
pay the immigrant visa fee. I think I hope you're still there, but you should basically pay the visa fee in order to process for the immigrant visa for, even if it's based on diversity, there's a fee for that as well. And someone else is asking about naturalized citizens or even, yeah, naturalized. Should they carry their certificate of citizenship? Are you telling people to do that so ICE doesn't arrest them?
Honestly, in New York, not really, because if you are a naturalized citizen, you can always go and get the real ID. But beside the real ID, they're giving something else now. I just did it. It has like the American flag on it, and this is only for people that are U.S. citizen.
Oh,
So
like a
in other states,
passport?
yes.
Yeah, I think the issue is mostly there have been, I don't know if you disappeared at least.
Can you
Oh,
hear me?
yeah, you disappeared
Hear
for a
me?
second, but there have been people that have been arrested and
And
deported in error. And so yeah, I mean, that makes me
it's
nervous, but it's the exception, not the rule. It's not supposed to happen. So if that happens, then obviously there's a lawsuit that you can look at that will hopefully be able to, get your, at least attempt to get
I
your
missed
right.
you guys. I missed you guys. I got in and
But,
out. Sorry.
yeah,
What
no,
did you hear? So, oh, okay, go
I
ahead.
was just say I was agreeing with you, but so technically it's not required to hold any proof of citizenship, but it is a helpful thing in
It
case you're in
helps.
a
If
situation
you're
or
asking, if you're asking, that means you are a very careful person that worries about certain things. I mean, I would just have it. Obviously don't have the original on you, but at least have a copy of your passport, have a copy of your certificate. But if you are in a state where they do offer what I was telling you about, like what we offer here in New York, there's something that is beyond the real ID where only citizenship or Americans can actually have it. So that ID by itself actually will tell the officer or whoever is stopping you that you are a U.S. citizen.
yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I would even at least take a picture of your certificate
Yes.
of citizenship, keep it with you on your phone, even if you don't want to carry it around, just fine. Or your passport. It's mostly about prevention because mistakes are happening because things go so fast these days, and they're enforcing it at such a strong kind of pace that they don't ask questions sometimes and check for details before they enforce.
Yes.
So you want to
Yes.
prevent that, and whatever you can do to do that is best. Um, are they holding I-751s so you can apply for citizenship? No, I don't think that's an intentional. I mean, I don't know, but there's
What's
that
the question?
I-751, they're saying are like basically our I-751s delayed because they want you to apply for citizenship. I don't think that's related. It's just
No, no, no. There's just a huge
delayed.
backlog, and it's
Although
been
it would be an interesting theory because I-90s are also taking a long time, the renewals of green cards. So
yes.
maybe, but then if they're trying to encourage you to apply for citizenship because you're eligible for it, then maybe that's not a bad thing. Um, Somebody else is asking, do I need a lawyer if I want to file an adjustment of status through my U.S. citizen spouse if I'm on an F1 visa? What do you recommend? That's a good one.
This is okay. This is a two. Can I just? I'm going to tell you my opinion. This is a two-sword question
Yeah,
because you're
you're
asking a
asking
lawyer
lawyers.
you're asking a lawyer if I should hire a lawyer. Here's my
Are you
advice always.
useful?
Here's my advice always, um, if you get sick, you go to a doctor. Like I know if I get a headache, I may take Tylenol, get better, but I don't know whether or not the headache that I'm getting is just from literally being a headache or if there's any additional medical issues. Now, some people cannot afford to hire a lawyer and they think that they can do it themselves, and I used to, before this administration, I used to say if you're able to do it, cannot afford it, you want to save some money, yes. But with everything that we're seeing now, I'm saying if you can hire a lawyer, absolutely. Especially, I mean, adjustment of status. You know how intense the adjustment of status packages are. You know how many mistakes can happen in any of the applications for the adjustment of status, and If you didn't hire a lawyer to do your paperwork, I definitely say do not go to the interview without a lawyer. Do not go to the interview without being prepared by a lawyer now. And I'm saying, I just started saying this now after this administration, because
Yeah.
there's so many issues that we as attorneys, we look at, we've been to hundreds, if not thousands of interviews. And I'm sure that you've seen that some of the questions are changing. They're looking at different things during the interview. And I think if you don't hire an attorney to do your adjustment of status, at least you have to hire an attorney to go with you. Again, if you could afford it, if you
Yeah. I think the other thing I'd add to that is you disappeared again for a second, but I agree with you. It's like an awkward question to answer because we're biased. Obviously, we're gonna feel that we're valuable and we bring value to people, but I think it's important to understand what you only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. And so if things come up, you are going to be stressed out, and just having the fact that you can like trust this person to help guide you, because it's so stressful these days. If people are getting arrested at USAS interviews for routine cases if they overstayed their prior visa because of a technicality. So having somebody guide you and be with you and answer your questions, because it's not if things will come up, but when things come up all the time, and it's not even your fault. A lot of times it's USCIS, it's immigration, they're making mistakes all the time. We don't want you to,
especially now.
Yeah, and it's on you. Like if they make a mistake, you have to figure it out, and it's really hard to find the information. I would say not just a lawyer, I would say an immigration lawyer and somebody that's like that is a barred lawyer, not somebody like online that you say does immigration services, because they have nothing to lose if they make a mistake. They're not required to keep up with their CLEs, their continuing legal education. People that even if they have a lot of experience, if they're not licensed, there's nothing for them to lose if they make a mistake. So that's another thing.
This is a very important point you're making now, Hiba, because we're seeing a lot of paperwork filed by notarias, and then when you receive an RFE or it goes into an NTA, then they tell them, oh well, we're not lawyers, we cannot go to court with you. And many people get surprised. They think that they're dealing with lawyers, and then they turn out that they're not lawyers. So always ask. You can always find out if a person is a lawyer or not. There's the Bar Association. You go to the States Bar Association, you plug in the name, and the information of the lawyer will come out.
Yeah, and
like for example,
I assume they're cheaper too. That's the other thing. I keep finding out people, they charge more than attorneys, and they don't have to pay.
Yes.
It's really
and
crazy.
They don't have to pay the consequences. I mean, I know there's a lot of I mean, we see it more in the Spanish community more than the Arabic community, but I'm starting to see it more often now.
Yeah, no, so it's, I mean, I can understand. It's they think it's cheaper because they're not lawyers. So that's first. Second of all, they come across as like legal services, so they seem legit. They don't talk about what would happen if things go wrong. They just kind of say, oh, I've done this a million times, it's easy, and they show that. But I think it's really, really scary these days, because again, sometimes it's even better if you do it on your own, because at least they'll say this person is pro se, they don't have representation. Maybe that would at least give them the benefit of the doubt that, you know, depending on the error,
they make the mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that that's going to happen anymore these days, that they try to help you out. But at least we can say that there's that chance. Otherwise, there's no excuse. If they see that mistakes are made and you had help doing it, then it's harder to deal with that. So that's personal. Like, what is the saying?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if you are able to do that, then do it. If you're not able to do that, try to do it on your own. By the way, and there's a lot of non-for-profit organizations. Like, for example, in New York, we have a Yemeni organization. We have the Arab American Institute. I believe it's the Arab American Institute in Bay Ridge. So and then there's a lot of legal aid that may be able to help if you cannot afford it. Now, you may have to wait a long time, but at least it's an option.
Right. I think at the very least, it would be good to consult with an immigration lawyer before you
Yes.
make a decision one way or another and see what it is that they can offer, what are you doing. If you are doing the right thing, you're following the right steps. Don't assume you are, by the way, because we don't know. I mean, these days everything is changing. So you want to make sure at least they tell you that, you're on the right track, and they can offer you at least some basic information about what to look out for. And that's, I think, a value that definitely shouldn't be overlooked. Even if you have to pay for a consultation, it's well worth it just to verify and feel comfortable that, with your decision one way or another. I put a question in the
Um,
chat, from the chat on the screen. Do you see it?
no.
It's
Yes,
basically
if you
about
got speeding
citizenship.
tickets.
Yeah, so let's talk about citizenship, because the rules changed, and they're asking for a proof of good moral character. And I think that's very vague and hard to understand for people. And I would love for some clarity on it if you have some ideas. What does that mean? What
Again,
changed?
we have some, I mean, this is new, so we're learning as we're going through, but we kind of have an idea what's a good moral character is. Like, I'm gonna tell you about the ones that I've done since the law changed. For example, now the questions, like, now they ask, why is it that you want to become a US citizen? Um, one of my people, like, for example, I had a mother who never worked in the United States, okay,
Mhm.
but she did learn English, but she did raise three kids. Two of them were doctors, one of them is a lawyer. Not to say that a doctor and lawyer is better than anybody else, but you can say, listen, I raise kids who are paying taxes, who are adding to society. This is one way to do it. Another way, like, if you're part of a church, if you are part of a mosque, I mean, in churches, I know there's always activities in church. They're always asking for people to volunteer. A letter from your pastor, a letter from your priest, can attest to how long you've been in the church, can talk a little bit about your moral character. This is what we're doing right now. Paying your taxes, working and paying your taxes, um, is also um, is also a good way to show good moral character.
This guy's got 10 speeding tickets. What do you think? He's in a hurry, apparently. He's always late.
Do you still have your, my question is, what state are you in, and do you still have your, how many points do you have
Seriously. Oh
on
my God.
your records?
Imagine his insurance.
Exactly. How's your insurance?
And
You're
are they
gonna have
just
to.
speeding? Like at a certain point, don't they like start to say like this is like reckless driving or something? Or are they just purely speeding? Is it like low, like a small
I
amount?
don't know. I don't know what's the speed. I mean, listen, in some states, 10 miles above could be a speeding ticket
Yeah.
versus 50. So it really depends. But the way I look at it is this: if I have something that may show me in a bad light, I like to do it more like زي ميزان,
You wait.
try
Yeah.
to look at the good thing, so I can actually shine onto
Mhm.
the positive aspects of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I lived here, I don't have any criminal records,
Mhm.
if I am, let's say, if you live, oh, by the way, and because I had one of those, if you live with your in-laws and your
Oh, she'll be back in a second. I would say if you're an OBG and you're
hello.
always looking for emergencies, you're back.
If you live with your in-laws and your in-laws are older, this is actually something that they look positively on. I know they did for my client.
Mm,
As I said, she never worked here, but she's taking care of her elderly father-in-law and her elderly mother-in-law. So this was also put into
mhm.
play as to show a good moral character. Listen, I mean, I don't know if it depends on the state. Maybe some states are harder, like harder to prove
Mm,
than others. But if you can put all of those together, and it
yeah.
shows that you could be a good abiding citizen, um, you should be fine.
Osama
And
is
if you
saying,
don't
I
have,
don't think speeding.
sorry, I just want to add one more thing. And if you don't have anything, try to see what volunteer work you can do in your community. There's
Mhm.
always a need for volunteers, whether it's at church, whether it's at the mosque, whether it's at soup kitchen, whether it's at your kid's school. Let's
Mhm,
say
mhm.
your kids go to school and you're volunteering. You can always volunteer. You can always ask for, recommendation from the principal or from the teacher that you're volunteering with. But I don't think it's hard to prove. I think it's just that if you don't have anything, you just have to work on it.
Yeah, and it's not about it being considered a criminal. It's not a crime. But it's still relevant. All of this is relevant. What we're talking about, and this is very recent, that now they're asking for more proof of good moral character. So proof that you're a good person, not what was in the past. Before, like a month ago, it was that you would just say, I don't have any criminal history or any arrests in the last 5 years. The good moral character requirement, the period of time is 5 years. We're talking about for good moral character, specifically for citizenship
Mhm.
applications. But even if you have like zero arrests or even citations like traffic tickets, that still isn't enough. You have to show more now. And that's going to depend on the person and what they do in their life in general. But it's like Elisa was saying, it's a balancing of the equities. You have to show the
Yes.
positives outweigh the negatives. And so, for example, if let's say you are working as a volunteer, or my example was like if you're an OBGYN and that's why you get speeding tickets, because you're always rushing to emergencies in the hospital because you're like patients are in emergencies. Let's say that's the hypothetical that I just threw out. You would talk about that in your application, that you're helping people through your job, and you're not being a danger to society. If this is like a just highly strict like application of the citations, and they're charging you for like 5 miles over or whatever, it's all about the big picture. So you want to talk
Yes.
about it, but it's still relevant. So Usama, make sure you understand when we're talking about these things, we're not just throwing them out like it's nothing. It isn't nothing anymore. We have to address everything, including citations such as speeding tickets. It is not something you're not going to, I mentioned them on the forms because otherwise they could say you're trying to hide it. It is a question on the form if you've ever been cited, and that includes traffic violations as far as I'm concerned.
Heba, I just received a message from a couple of clients saying that they're unable to join the YouTube. Is it like did you close it or is it still open or?
No, but if you go to the my YouTube page, they can see that there's a live stream there. It might be a different link than the one that they have.
Okay.
That's what I
That's the,
suspect that. I have a feeling that I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't do it while I was on. So just have them go to the
hold
my
on.
page, my YouTube page, and see what is live, and they can just join us from there.
Okay, hold
So
on a
yeah,
minute. And
whoever's like
which one?
listening from
What's
there.
what's what's your YouTube page?
It's just Ghalib Law, I believe. GHA. It's the same.
Hiba Ghalib. Hold on, لحظة.
Um.
YouTube. I just sent it, and again we're testing this, so
Yeah, I think I see people like I don't know if it's how people found it that are joined. We have a question about how long an I-130 is taking. I think that's a very confusing thing because some people are saying that green cards are faster, but technically they're delayed in consular processing cases. So can you maybe talk about the timelines?
yes. And honestly, I don't have a logical explanation for this because I do lots of those. Some of them, even for consular processing, they get processed within 6, 7 months. Others, they may take longer than a year. What's the logic behind it? Honestly, I don't know. For adjustment of status, we're seeing that for adjustment of status that package is coming in pretty quickly. But for consular process, I'm gonna tell you, like I literally filed two packages on the same day. One, I get the approval of the I-130 within 8 months. The other one, we're still waiting.
Mm,
So what's the delay? I cannot really tell you. Beside that,
mm,
if it's the only thing I say, like I had a consultation today, which the I-130 actually from a daughter to a parents was taken. It's going into the 3 years, and a lot of people don't have the money to do mandamus. So the first thing I like to start with is if you have a representative that actually doing their job, you know, and
Mhm.
they're listening to constituent. Try to see if you can speed, again, the I-130, don't confuse it with the NVC process, okay?
Mm.
I'm just talking about the I-130. If it's outside of the processing time, you can always ask your representative to inquire about it.
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. But how long it's taken, I'm seeing anywhere between 8 months to a year and a half.
Yeah, and then the second part, it will vary depending on if we're talking about a beneficiary that's outside of the US, it'll depend on the consulate,
Oh,
right?
yes, of course,
With
of
other
course.
factors, you're
Yes,
dealing with a different agency. They don't
yes,
publish their timelines, but you can kind of tell based on what
yes,
other people have experienced how long things can take. But they are
yes.
delayed, I think, with the consulates as well.
Yes, especially with like very busy consulates. Like I have a huge Syrian clientele. So like, for example, the that's why I don't like fiance visas for Syrians, because it's taken as long of a time as an I-130, because the consulate is in Jordan and because they're not scheduling them, rapidly. So sometimes like I get asked like, would you prefer fiance visa or would you prefer that they go down, do كتب كتاب أو يعملوا إكليل. Uh, um, I always prefer the marriage part, but if they're from certain countries where the fiance visa is faster, and this is what they want to do because they want to have their wedding over here, they can do that. That's like usually, مثلا, like for the Syrians, I always prefer a marriage base because it's taken the same time.
What about everyone
Yes.
else? Like, because I get that question a lot in general. Do you say that?
Okay. I'm gonna tell you something from my okay, I'm gonna say it.
I want to
I'm gonna
hear this.
say it.
Like,
Okay.
I get this all the
I
time.
don't.
So
Okay,
answer,
forget.
like, if you're just joining, we're talking about fiance versus marriage for people that have the option to do both. Let's hear
Yes.
it
Okay.
from
I
our.
always, I always, always, always prefer marriage base, especially, and I don't know if you can agree with me, especially if they are women getting engaged to men over here, because I cannot tell you the amount of time in the past 20 years of practicing this immigration law, how many times a lot of girls come here on a fiance visa to find out that he is either married or there's a problems. He decides not to marry her. Now she's stuck. She doesn't want to go back. Does she want to go back? It's always better. Um, in that cultural aspect for me, I always find it better to do a marriage. Now, in terms of time wise, there really isn't that much difference, depending on which consulate you're going through. Like, for example, if you're Syrian going through Jordan, you might as well just do a marriage base.
Mm,
If you are Egyptian, I mean, we're seeing a good turnaround in the Egyptian consulate. So yes, but you're only saving a couple of months. You know what I mean?
mm,
So
yeah.
and you're talking about you're filing for your fiance visa, then you're getting your
Not
appointment at the consulate, doing your paying the visa, paying for medicals. Then you're gonna come back here. Now you have to do the adjustment of status. You have to do the different affidavit of support, of course. Then most of the time they require you to redo your vaccination, or if you didn't get the certain vaccination, now they require to do vaccination. So I think it's faster in the long run if you do a marriage base, because all you do is you process everything. You're waiting.
Yeah, not to mention that when you're here after a marriage base, you're already a permanent resident.
Might as well just wait a couple of more months and you come here and you get your green card right away. You don't have to do anything else once you're here.
Yeah, and
So
imagine
for
people that
me,
need work or
so
something, they
for
won't be able
me,
to live for a while.
yes. So for me, if you ask me, I prefer the marriage base than the fiance visa, and it's cheaper for the applicants.
Yep, I agree. I 100%. I mean, there's a
And
lot of factors.
and
Mhm.
since we're on the subject, sorry, I just want to say something.
That's okay.
For
Go ahead.
some reason, uh, Palestinians and Jordanians and many Syrians think that Katb Kitab is khutbah. Okay, I just
Yes.
want to
Yes, Ketbik Sab is a marriage. If the marriage, exactly. I think that's a
All right.
very important point. Ketbik Sab is a marriage, meaning you can't do a fiance visa. So if you do a kitab or aqad qiran while you're waiting for your fiance visa, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get denied. It doesn't matter that it's not in
Can
the
you
US.
hear me?
Yeah, you're back. Oh, no, she's not. That's a very good point. And I think also the point about timing is important, but it's not the only thing. The only reason sometimes that I would think about maybe recommending a fiance visa is if the person is not in the US. The beneficiary is outside of the country, obviously, but then you have the U.S. citizen that isn't able to travel to get married. So obviously that will delay the process if they aren't able to travel, because they can't start until they're legally married. There's no such thing as a proxy marriage. You have to do it in person. And so if that is the case, that's pretty much the rare exception where I'll say, okay, maybe. And even a fiance visa, you still have to have seen her in the last 2 years or him to even be eligible for it. But otherwise, it really doesn't make sense. You're pretty much going through all the same process for the fiance visa, except for pretty much all the same process to get here. It might take a little bit longer. And then you have an extra step.
Sorry
You're
about
back.
that.
No,
Sorry
you're
about
back.
that.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you about the fiance visa because I get that
Yes.
question a lot.
And I just want to make sure that, كتب كتاب is not engagement. كتب كتاب is an actual marriage. So إذا أنتوا كاتبين كتابكم ما فيكمش you cannot do الفيانسي فيزا بدكم تعملوا المارriage base.
Yeah, 100%. And just if you're joining, guys, if this is a reminder, this is for information purposes only. We're not here
Correct.
giving you legal advice. There's so many details that matter for every situation. We don't want your details to be presented here because this is public, but at the same time, it might be beneficial to you to have a one-on-one consultation and work with an attorney if you need to, because every little detail matters. So we just went on for like 5 minutes about the pros and cons of fiance visas. Obviously, that's going to depend on the person and the couple and the families. And there's so many other things. I was talking about for example, some people are like, no, I can't come to the US on a fiance visa and not have the ability to work right away because it's very important that I'm able to continue employment. And you're not going to have a work permit for a long time after you enter, maybe several months. By the time you get married and get your green card application and the work permit gets approved. So it really does. There's so many factors. And these consults, if I talk to one person about this question, usually it's 30 minutes of just me like going over, getting information from them, figuring out what their priorities are in their lives, what their goals are. And then we can talk about the pros and cons of the options and then help kind of guide them to what would be a good fit for them. But this is definitely not general advice for this or any other immigration process. There's sometimes multiple options. People are asking about student visas and doing work-based green cards after a student visa, for example. It could be many different routes that you are looking at between the EB2 NIW, EB2 regular perm. Even if you don't have a sponsor right away, maybe you can get somebody to sponsor you, the year after, while you're looking for work on OPT if you have a STEM extension. My point is, immigration is really complicated, and also there are many options. So even though maybe one doesn't fit exactly as what you're aware of, doesn't fit you exactly right now because you didn't get an offer for a job, let's say for sponsorship, but maybe you're qualified for the NIW, the National Interest Waiver. So it's the same EB2, but you would self-petition in that situation. So then you do have an option to try EB2, right? But you wouldn't know until you make sure that you go through all of the possibilities. And it would be best to talk to somebody that has the ability to help you figure out what could be an option for you. I think people are asking about TPS still. So change of status, we kind of talked about that earlier, and we'll share this video so people can follow it as well. But you have to be in status to change status. So just to recap that, basically, whether it's a change of status to a student visa, as you suggest, or even an H-1B, which assuming, you have already applied for that, because H-1Bs are not really something that we are optimistic about at this time.
No.
But the point is you still have to be in status. So a lot of people that have been on TPS, if there was ever a gap, that would be a problem for change of status. An adjustment as well. The only exception, and I'll say maybe to simplify it, the only time you can do a change of status or to fix your immigration process if you are currently out of status and you want to do it from within the U.S. To simplify it, I think it's through marriage to a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
Obviously, there's like exceptions such as a U visa for victims of violence
Our
or
parents.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
child to a parent. Yes.
Yeah, immediate relatives. So immediate
Yes.
relative meaning petitions filed by U.S. citizen parent for their child under 21, or vice versa, 21-year-old
Yes.
child that's a citizen for their parent, and spouses. So those are like okay to file even if they're out of status. Obviously, it's still, you have to be careful with those because these days they're
Yes.
if you're out of status, you're potentially exposing yourself to issues with ICE later, even if you're processing your case, because they can tell you, oh, you can process your case, but do it in front of an immigration judge in
Yes.
removal proceedings, and they'll detain you pending.
And Hiba, this takes us back to the gentleman. I don't remember if it was gentleman or a lady that actually asked the question, should I consult with a lawyer before I do the adjustment of status, or can I do it by myself?
Oh yeah,
These are the kind of changes that we're talking about, that we're saying if you could at least have a consultation with a lawyer so they can take a look at everything, and then you get to decide whether or not you want the lawyer to process your papers or if you want to process it yourself.
Yeah, someone was asking about whether they needed an attorney. They're asking about the change in F2A. The visa bulletin is a mystery. Nobody understands why the changes happen so significantly. I don't think anybody ever really will know, except for, I think, what's it, Charlie Oppenheimer, if I'm not mistaken, his name is, basically the guy who's overseeing the visa bulletin, but nobody really can predict that or understand why it works in that way. But I'm gonna quickly go through because we're wrapping up. It's 5 o'clock already.
I was just gonna remind you, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah. We were saying we're gonna do this as a trial, and we're gonna do it for an hour. It's been an hour, and I'm grateful that we got some great questions, both on mostly on YouTube is where I'm looking, because that's where I've directed you, but I know that there may have been some other questions on other platforms. Hopefully I'll get the link right next time if anybody's missing on YouTube that couldn't log in for some reason. But I think I know why, so hopefully next time we won't do that. If this worked for you, let us know if you like this format.
And give us feedback. And also, like, give us feedbacks on what subjects you like to for us to talk about. Give us feedbacks if you are tech savvy and you can actually like help the process easier. Also, like, give us feedback, and just give us feedback in general.
Perfect. Yeah, that would be awesome. And I will share this a recording with you, so you can share it with your followers as well.
Absolutely.
In case anybody missed any of this. But yeah, please, we'll do maybe a poll or something so we can start gathering some of the questions that you have in advance, so we can prepare and present all of your questions. If we missed any question, or if you really need to speak with us, please go ahead and coordinate. Our links are here. You can find us easily, hopefully, on all the platforms. Our names are there as well. So if you do want to reach out, we're available to talk to you at any time by appointment for me, and I'm sure as well for you.
Same. It's always by appointment.
That way we can make sure we're dedicated to you and your question. And follow us as well, because we'll do more of these hopefully in the future. If you get notified when we go live in the future, if you're following us, hopefully we'll catch your questions at the next time we're here. And just one other thing I'll say, as an immigration lawyer, people ask me this all the time. It doesn't matter what state we're in. For the most part, everything we do is federal law, which is the same across the board across the U.S. As long as we're licensed attorneys, we should be able to help you wherever you are in the world with your immigration questions and your case. So the only exception maybe is that we might recommend personally for removal proceedings to find someone local, and I'd refer you to specific.
Absolutely.
My personal recommendation, just because you want somebody experience with that judge for especially specific cases, that want to know what the judges do in those situations. It's better to have someone local for that. But otherwise, anybody can help you wherever you are. Make sure that you get the right information. If it sounds too good to be true, then definitely get another opinion. There's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of people are stressed out, and it's understandable. I mean, we're stressed out on your behalf as well. So I feel your pain.
Hey, but I just want to add one more thing to what you said.
Yeah, please. Go
Follow,
ahead.
definitely follow us, because as Hiba said, we're gonna be doing this more often. But beside this, we also put out certain videos that it's like an FYI for the community. If there's anything new, we put it out there, so at least you know where the information is coming from. You know that the sources are actually coming from an immigration attorney.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we hope to do this more often. If this
Yeah.
was helpful, please let us know. And
Yeah. Yeah, thank
we'll
you
do it
guys for your
again.
questions and for your time, and thank you,
Yes.
Anise, for your time. And a
Thank
lot
you.
of the questions,
Thank
like you
you,
said,
Hiba, for thank
um,
you, Hiba, for putting this together. She is
oh
amazing.
no,
I swear. She
hopefully
is a
we're
tech savvy.
figure it
She's
out.
a super mom. Listen, I always say you're a super mom.
Okay,
You're a super lawyer. She's an amazing person.
likewise, it's the same. That's why we are hopefully seeing this in each other and referring to each other, and we're here to support you and support each other through the
Inshallah.
next, hopefully steps. And let us know if there's anything else so we could do for you, and we will see you next time.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Bye bye, Hiba. I'll see you.
Bye. Thank you.